Let's start in 1817. Reverend D.A. had a toothache so bad he was banging his head against a fence post just to feel something else. The next morning at 9 o'clock a.m., relief finally arrived. His tooth detonated, like a pistol shot. It sounds like a myth, but exploding teeth was a real medical phenomenon. The theory? 19th century fillings used mixed metals, lead, silver, tin. If you had two different metals in your mouth, your saliva effectively turned your face into a low-voltage battery. This electrolysis broke down the water in your mouth into hydrogen gas, which got trapped inside the rotting cavity of your tooth. Pressure builds, hydrogen is flammable, you walk past a candle. Boom. It's loud, it's violent, and it's impossible to ignore. F tier. In the 1920s, the Ghost Girls had the coolest job in the world. They painted watch dials with glow-in-the-dark radium. To keep the brushes fine, they licked the tips. The symptom? A loose tooth. Some fatigue, maybe some joint pain. They ignored it because their bosses said radium was healthy. It wasn't. Radium is chemically similar to calcium. Your body can't tell the difference, so it takes the nuclear material and builds it into your bones. These women weren't just sick, they were being irradiated from the inside out. Their jawbones became honeycombed and brittle. One girl, Molly Maggia, went to the dentist to pull a loose tooth. He pulled, and her entire jawbone came out with it. The symptom was a loose tooth. The result was disintegration. A tier. In the Victorian era, the color green was to die for, literally. A chemist named Carl Wilhelm Scheele invented a vibrant green pigment. People loved it. They put it in dresses, toys, and wallpaper. The symptom? A headache, maybe a dry throat. It's just the bad city air, they said. So they went to the seaside, got better, and came home to die. The green pigment was made of copper arsenite. When mold grew on the wallpaper paste, it ate the arsenic and released a gas called trimethylacine. Every night, thousands of Victorians locked their windows to keep out the bad air, unaware they were turning their bedrooms into arsenic gas chambers. Killer wallpaper. You can't make this stuff up. B tier. In 1518, a woman named Frau Trofea stepped into the street and started dancing. She didn't stop for food. She didn't stop for sleep. She danced until her feet bled. Within a month, 400 people had joined her. The symptom? An irresistible urge to twitch and move. Doctors at the time thought the cure was more dancing, so they hired musicians to keep the beat going. This was a fatal mistake. People danced until they died of heart attacks, strokes, and exhaustion. Modern theory? They were suffering from a mass psychogenic illness, triggered by extreme stress and famine. Their brains broke, and the dance was a contagious trance they couldn't wake up from. A party that literally never stops. S tier. Between 1915 and 1926, a mysterious plague swept the world. It started like the flu, sore throat, fever, but then people just fell asleep. They would fall asleep while eating, while standing up, and they never really woke up. Millions were trapped in a state of viscid paralysis. They were living statues, conscious, able to hear you, but unable to move or speak for decades. It was called the sleepy sickness. And just as mysteriously as it appeared, it vanished. We still don't know exactly what caused it. Being trapped in your own body for 40 years? A tier. Let's move to something that is probably in your fridge right now. In 2008, a student ate 5-day-old spaghetti. He felt nauseous. He thought, food poisoning, I'll sleep it off. He was dead 11 hours later. This is Bacillus cereus. When starchy food sits at room temperature, this bacteria wakes up and produces a toxin. Here is the scary part. You can microwave that pasta until it's nuclear hot. The heat kills the bacteria, but the toxin survives. It doesn't attack your stomach, it attacks your liver, causing fulminant hepatic failure. It looks like food, but it shuts down your organs. S tier. Man's best friend, or a biological weapon. Up to 74% of dogs carry a bacteria called Capnocytophaga in their mouths. To them, it's harmless. To you, it can be a death sentence. There are cases of people getting a playful lick on a minor paper cut. 3 days later, you feel like you have the flu, fever, vomiting, but by the time you realize it's not the flu, the bacteria has caused rapid sepsis. Your blood starts clotting in your hands and feet. People have lost all 4 limbs and their nose just from a puppy kiss. I love dogs, but this is a B-tier nightmare. People don't ignore carbon monoxide poisoning. They misinterpret it. You don't feel sick. You feel afraid. You hear footsteps. You see shadows. You wake up paralyzed, feeling a ghost sitting on your chest. This happens because your brain is starving of oxygen. The amygdala, your fear center, freaks out and starts hallucinating threats. There's a documented case where a family thought their house was haunted for months, until someone checked the furnace. They fixed the vent, and the ghost disappeared. It gaslights you into thinking you're in The Conjuring. C tier. You can drown on dry land hours after you leave the pool. Your kids swallow some water, they cough it up, they seem fine. Hours later, they feel tired. So you put them to bed. This is called secondary drowning. The water they inhaled washes away surfactant, the chemical that keeps your lungs open. Over the next few hours, their lungs slowly fill with their own fluids while they sleep. They don't wake up. If your kid inhales water and then gets sleepy, do not let them nap. Go to the ER. The delay makes this truly evil. S tier. If your kid swallows a coin, it passes. If they swallow a button battery, you have 2 hours. The symptom? A cough. Drooling. It looks like a cold. But inside, the battery is reacting with saliva to create lye. It electrocutes the throat and burns a hole straight into the aorta. If you take your kid to the hospital, you need to know this sign. On an X-ray, a coin is a solid white disc. A battery has this faint inner ring, the halo sign. Spotting that double ring is the difference between life and death. It mimics a cold while melting your insides. S tier. You go for a swim in a warm lake. You get some water up your nose. You assume it's nothing. 5 days later, you have a headache and you can't smell your coffee. This is the brain-eating amoeba. It travels up your olfactory nerve, passes through the bone and starts consuming your frontal lobe. By the time you have a headache, it's already too late. The fatality rate is 97%. It is polite, it is quiet, and it is almost always fatal. Nature is terrifying. S tier. In the highlands of Papua New Guinea, a disease appeared that made people laugh uncontrollably, right before it killed them. The symptom? Joint pain, tremors, and sudden emotional laughter. The cause? It wasn't a virus, it was a prion. The local tribe practiced a funeral ritual where they consumed the deceased. If you ate the brain, you got the prion. The prion turns your brain into a sponge. The incubation period can be 50 years, meaning people are dying today from rituals that happened decades ago. A laugh track for your own death? A tier. You've heard of plastic in the ocean, but a 2024 study found that 58% of us have microplastics lodged inside our arteries. It's called plasticosis. Your immune cells try to eat the plastic. They fail. They get inflamed. The symptom? Nothing. Until the plaque ruptures and you flatline. We used to think plastic was inert. Turns out, we are slowly turning into mannequins. We did this to ourselves. B tier. And finally, the God tier. Imagine you stop sleeping, not for a night, but forever. Doctors give you pills. They don't work. This is fatal familial insomnia. Prions attack the thalamus, the switchboard that lets you go unconscious. You lose the ability to enter deep sleep. You are stuck in a twilight zone, hallucinating, panicking, awake. There is no cure. You stay awake for months until you die of exhaustion. The ultimate betrayal. Your body refuses to let you rest. The scariest part isn't that these symptoms exist. It's that your body doesn't scream when it's dying. It whispers. It uses boring sensations, things you've ignored 1,000 times. Because panic wastes energy. So when your body finally tells you something is wrong, maybe don't sleep it off, because some symptoms don't want attention, they want permission. Sleep well.